What's up, everybody? Christian Fowler here with GoTigers247, and I am joined by former Memphis offensive lineman Gabe Kuhn.
What's the word?
We will be bringing you a weekly segment called GoTigers247 Film Room, where we will be breaking down Memphis's previous game. We'll be looking about 20 to 25 plays, both on offense and defense, breaking down just what's going on, what happened, what led to the result of the play. And I have the expert Gabe Kuhn here with me to walk me through. So we'll go a little bit of back and forth just to bring you guys more in depth on what the Tigers are doing on both sides of the ball. But before we get started, Gabe, walk us through your career a little bit briefly, and then what you've been doing since you left the university.
Played 2013 to 2017. Offensive line, all 4 years, had 51 starts. Great time, got to see a transformation of a program. First year I was there, we were 3-9. And I sort of got to see that 10 wins turn to 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins. We were all in that ballpark, and to see what they're doing now, handling Ole Miss in their house, that was great to see. But nowadays, I'm at Sports 56. I produce for a radio show, Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
So if you're living under a rock and missed Saturday's game, Memphis defeated Ole Miss 15-10. Very defensive game, very back and forth on the defensive side of the ball. So like I said earlier, we're really just coming to bring you guys in depth and to show you what we see from our point of view. But Gabe, before we get started, what were your overall thoughts and takeaways from Saturday's game?
I thought the defense was aggressive, and it was fun to see. Adam Fowler clearly had them ready to play. And they were timely as well. I mean, they made some timely stops, did some things in a timely manner. Offensively, I think there's work that needs to be done. You like to see a young O-line come in and actually be able to run the ball and establish a run against a sort of stout, SEC defense. But overall, 5 points better. And regardless of if the offense struggled.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, regardless of struggle, 5 points better than the other team.
So without further ado, we're going to get into it. And Gabe, we're going to start with the first play of the game.
And I already know where we're going with this one.
Because,
this is great.
In my opinion, the way you start the game is very important. And this is for Memphis on the defensive side of the ball. So starting the game off on a strong note and setting the tone is very important. So like I said, without further ado, let's get into it.
So first play of the game, right here, 1st and 10. I like the aggressiveness. That's the word I use to start this thing. You bring down Sanchez Blake here on the outside. Right here, and you stunt your best defender in Bryce Huff, number 55, inside. First play of the game to throw off this sort of young freshman O-line. And the thing we haven't seen in the past is them land on blitzes, right? And when you see a play like this and you see, people in the backfield pushing back, that's always a great thing, especially when you think about who they have to play and just being able to stop the run.
Yeah, so like you said, right off the rip, you can see Memphis already has 3 guys in the backfield. They've got this stunt coming inside. So you've got JoJo standing up here, Sanchez coming off the blitz, and it's, like you said, they completely confused Ole Miss's offensive line first play of the game. You have Octavius Cooley going backside, but there's nobody home to take care of the 3 guys coming right here. JoJo and O'Brien just wreak havoc in the backfield.
Just to absolutely blow it up. And no chance for Scotty Phillips. You have all these people at least 1 to 2 yards into the backfield. No chance for the play to get started. And the aggressiveness is just great.
Perfect way to start the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And fired up, of course.
Oh, God, yeah.
So we're second play. Believe this is on Ole Miss's second drive. You got a 1st and 10. And it's, once again, this is just setting the tone. What this Adam Fuller defense wants to do is set the tone. So same thing as the last play.
Same exact thing.
You've got 3 players in the backfield. Nobody's blocking them, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're Adam Fuller or a Memphis fan.
Yeah, and the only difference in this and in the last one is you have a linebacker walked up on the ball in J.J. Russell. That's the only big difference. And again, same exact result, and the aggressiveness is just great to see, especially early in the season against an SEC opponent.
Right, and the difference in what Adam Fuller's doing versus what Chris Ball was doing, having a guy like J.J. Russell, who is that's your starting inside linebacker, coming outside and blitzing is something that I don't think we ever would have seen last year. So to see this so early in the game, for J.J. to make that play and blow it up in the backfield once again. Great play, and I think this is, maybe what we can expect this season from Adam Fuller's defense.
Well done, well done.
Next up, this is our first Memphis offensive play. 3rd and 11. if you're running the ball on 3rd and 11, you're pretty
got
ballsy.
Confidence.
You're pretty ballsy
Let
there.
me tell you, you got confidence. And a young O-line, may I say.
Yeah, so I think they went back-to-back runs, and then you get a 3rd and 11. And
here's what I'll point out first of all. You have trips to the top of the screen, and you spread out these linebackers. You can't keep both of these linebackers in the box if you're Ole Miss because you have so much threat of all these guys, these skill guys on the outside. So when you have one linebacker in the box, you have 5-on-5 plus the tailback makes it 6. The numbers work out. Just from a straight numbers standpoint, you can tell this play is going to work.
Absolutely.
And when he gets it started, I think Scotty Dill tries to get the seal right here. When he can't, throws him out with the left hand.
Opens that lane up.
And does a real good job. And this is where they're going to make their money this year, is this outside zone scheme. I think Patrick Taylor's really, really good at it. And it just opens some huge lanes. Dustin with a really good reach block on Benito Jones right there.
Yeah, and then if you back it up, you can see this combo with Obina and Dylan Parham on the 3-tech, and they completely wash him, which is what you want. You don't want backside penetration. You're reading this backside defensive end, so you want to wash this 3-tech because this is really the guy that can blow up the play on that backside.
Absolutely, and the scoop right there is beautiful. And this is what I love. Patrick Taylor falling forward every time. Look at him right there. Look at 17. He doesn't want any of that at all.
I don't think neither one of them. Nobody in the vicinity wants to get involved in that at all.
No one wants that.
So next up, we got a run for 12 yards, another Memphis play. I believe this is down on the goal line, and I love this off the rip. So
and I can already tell by alignment what they're going to do. They're going to run right. They have the 2 tight ends right here. This is my favorite play, and Mike Norvell has absolutely latched onto this play from day one, especially with Ryan Silverfield being the run game coordinator. You look at, this is what we call G-power. You have the guard here inside Manny Arona right to the, below Brady. He's going to pull out and kick this force player. That creates a lane right here. I mean, I think I could run through that. You think you can run through that?
I think I can get through that.
So he makes this guy miss, and he's off. I mean, he has all the open space in the world. Great job up here. Sort of stock blocking on this defensive back right here and getting some good downfield help.
Yeah, and when you run it back, you can see, these Memphis tight ends, a lot of people have been asking for them to be used more in the passing game. But if you look, Joey kicks out perfectly on this linebacker, opens the hole, and then, like you said, Sean Dykes come out and stalk blocks this defensive back, and it's just wide open at that point.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, too, because when Joey, the first time I saw him step on campus, he was a smaller, more slender guy. But now he's a great inline blocker. Right here, punches the hip, gets right up to the linebacker, just absolutely beautiful, seals it off, and his guy's not making the play. And look, I think he got him on the ground, yeah. Good old-fashioned knockdown. And once again, Kenny Gainwell even falling forward.
Yeah, Anthony Jones got them running backs falling forward for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This right here may be one of my favorite plays in the game, 3rd and 15. Just once again shows how creative that Adam Fuller is. And it really is a lot of the same, but I think he just had this Ole Miss offensive line guessing. And at this point, you're bringing a safety down. You got Londre Thomas in the box. You don't know if he's coming or dropping on the slot guy, if they're doubling him, if he's going to the running back. You have no idea what's coming at this point. So I think it's perfect play design.
It's awesome because I'll tell you right now, with this running back leaving, as you see, he's going to leave. Okay? With that running back leaving, it is a 5-on-5. Okay? So these linemen have absolutely no idea where it's coming from.
Right.
No idea. They're so confused. They have 2 guys walked up here. They're like, is he going to stunt inside? Are they both going to come? Are we going to have to bring an extra guy to get them? But when you play, you drop JoJo Dorcius at the top of the screen to spy, and it just leaves Londre Thomas over here on an island. You twist, it looks like they twist a linebacker and J.J. Russell inside. It's just so aggressive and so mean, and I don't know, as a lineman, how you can expect to pick up a blitz like this. That's just really hard, and quite frankly, I don't know in our best of days back in my day if we could ever pick that up. That's really tough.
And when you look at best case scenario here, so the coverage is well down. You see coverage is really good downfield. Best case scenario is Matt Corral dumps this off, and you have Tim Hart playing perfect man coverage, and that running back's not going anywhere. So
exactly.
Play design's perfectly executed, and like you said, as an offensive lineman, you have no idea what's coming there.
And it's
you
hilarious.
You do not expect this stunt right here. It's play design.
And it's hilarious when you count this box: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, if they all came, you'd be done. You'd be outmanned. He ends up only bringing 4. And getting to the quarterback absolutely easily. And that's something in the past that we haven't seen. They haven't been able to land on stuff like that.
Right. Four-man pressures did not get pressure with Memphis in the past few years.
No, they have not. It's because there's more movement. Right.
1st and 10 here. Back to the Memphis offense. One of the first big completions of the game. I know a lot of people. Before we get into this, I want to get your opinion on this because this is my theory. So we saw Saturday. There was a ton of sprint right option, sprint left option from Brady White. They were trying to move the pocket for a reason. And I believe that reason is they know they have a young offensive line with 3 new starters. And that Ole Miss defensive front is not bad by any means. I mean, they have Benito Jones.
No, Josiah Coatney's a hell of a player.
And then Benito Jones, a former 5-star player at a Wayne County, Mississippi. So they know that they're outmatched up front physically. So what you do is try to move the pocket. That's what you're going to try to do. Even though Brady is not great at throwing the ball on the run, you try to get him out of the pocket, try to let plays develop, because I don't think if they sit back against that defensive line, it's going to happen. So in theory, I think it was a great call by Norvell and the offensive staff to move the pocket. Did it work completely? No, but I think that's more off of execution than coaching, because I think the game plan was perfect. But that's just mine.
And the thing is, I like this with Brady White because you're taking the run game, which has been so successful, and giving them that look. You have 2 tight ends as an ace formation. You bring this guy in as if you're about to have him be an extra blocker and start this outside zone to the right. But what he does here, fake the handoff, gets a nice little rollout. You have your personal protector and Manny Arona out there, and it's just a basic cross route downfield. They just cross, and they find a way to get it to pop while he's getting hit, which is the good thing. Obviously, you want to get him out front. You want to get it out in front of him, but judging by the fact that he did get hit, he took a lick.
Yeah, he took a lick. That's a long throw. For anybody that's ever played quarterback, that is a long throw, basically from one hash mark to the other, past the hash marks. A completely cross-field throw, that is not easy to do, especially while you're getting hit. I think if he doesn't get hit, he probably hits pop in stride. I did have a couple people, I think, tweet me after that play like, why can't Brady White get it there? I mean, he's getting drilled right there.
I do think some of the things with Brady as far as not being able to push it downfield are true. But this is actually a tough throw, and rolling out right, throwing all the way back to your left to a guy running that direction is never going to be easy. The fact that he got it to him while getting hit is actually a plus for me. That's actually a good thing. I can't fault him here.
So go back just for a second, looking on this. From the offensive lineman perspective, when you have, I believe Dylan Parham pulls on this play,
Yep.
If he sees this linebacker blitzing, is that his guy?
So
I believe
oh, sorry, it wasn't Dylan Parham. I did say Manny Arona, didn't I?
Yeah.
But this is a personal protector. So anybody who comes around will handle that and take that.
Okay.
I think Scotty Dill, he didn't strain quite hard enough on this one, and he got beat.
Yeah.
And he sort of released. I don't really know what that is. But Dylan, I can't fault him for not seeing that. That's something late.
He did his job.
A little leakage. He had enough time to get the ball off, and that's all really that counts.
That's what matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters to me, as long as it gets there.
Yeah, so
and it got there.
It got there. Hey, that's 20 yards and a first down. So right here, this is a 3rd and 9 play. You see what they're trying to do right off the rip. If you have Jerrion Ely in the backfield, I mean he's an elite athlete. So what they're going to try to do is they know they have man coverage.
Bunch everyone up.
Yeah, they're bunched up, so they know they have man coverage. And they know Austin Hall is the guy on him, so they're basically betting that Jerrion Ely can beat Austin Hall, which I think is a pretty logical assumption.
Yeah, which in the past, no doubt. But Austin has a lot of experience under his belt, and I think that is going to help him this year, especially with a new defense sort of being installed. I really like what he's been able to do.
Right. So just base defense here, man-to-man, straight up. Austin follows Jerry on out of the backfield.
We did notice this. This is not so good.
Yes.
Right here, J.J. Russell.
So this is
supposed
like
to get passed off. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's 3rd and 9, and this is a short crosser, so it didn't end up mattering. But that's something he's going to have to pick up, and I'm sure they went through that in film.
You know, like we said, man-to-man, straight up, JJ missed that one. But if you look at Matt Corral's eyes, he never even thought. He was going. This was his matchup the whole way. He was going Jerry on Ely the whole way.
Yes, he was pushing it downfield, 3rd and 9. He was trying to make a play happen.
He's not even trying to look a safety off. He's going Jerry on Ely is where he's going right
What
there.
you like about Austin down here, right on the 50 marker, basically, is him being aggressive getting to Jerry on Ely and making him sort of chop his feet a little bit.
Right, and when you also see him kind of sit right there, a lot of people would say, well, he thought he was going to stop right there. But what you got to watch for with the back out of the backfield is you basically have three routes. You have a swing, you have an angle route, and you have a wheel.
Yeah.
And if he hits an angle right there with him moving upfield, and that's a first down easy.
Yeah,
so I think coverage wise, that's perfect. A lot of people may critique that a little bit too much, but if he busts an angle route with him running full speed forward, he's got Austin Hall beat. So coverage to me was perfect there.
Yeah, and the other thing, top of the screen here with the lineman, a little twist. You get Swamp Donkey outside and bring Bryce Huff and sort of twist him back in and just sort of confuse him a little bit. And you'll notice at the end of the play, he gets around and gets the hit on.
They got the pressure.
And that's all. A 4-man pressure. We saw it land more than once. And in the past, no.
And then right here, it's good coverage all the way throughout, tracking the ball, getting the ball out of the receiver's hands, and you also have safety over the top, safety up over the top. So another well-executed play. You're speaking of Swamp Donkey. Do you have any idea where that nickname came? I mean, you played with this guy.
He's
that's
from Louisiana.
I know he's
in
from
the swamp. So I mean, that's sort of his thing, man.
It followed him.
It happened. I can't tell you. But and what you do like to see here is the safety help over top, and later we'll get to that play with Quindell Johnson.
Yeah, I believe that's Tyrese Lindsey on that one. So safeties played well in this game.
Yeah, and just did what they were supposed to do. Stayed home until they didn't have to anymore.
And speaking of
Quindell
Johnson, here we go.
And this is you want to start?
Yeah. So I mean, when you look at this before you even get to the play, when you get to the context of the play, Londre Thomas goes out. He was having a wonderful first quarter. I think it happened early in the second quarter, late in the first quarter. He was playing great. He had that sack.
Yep.
He was looking like the real deal. And then he gets that hit on Elijah Moore, which it's tough for me, man. It was an illegal hit, but you can't fault guys for playing aggressive. And I don't think coaches are going to be like, stop playing aggressive.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the beast now. If you hit someone in the head, you're out of the game, and you have 2 halves that you have to be out for. So I have to agree with it because that's the rule, but it kind of stinks because he was just trying to make a play. He wasn't trying. He didn't have intent. But that's not what matters. Yeah,
so Quindell Johnson comes in, redshirt freshman, somebody I've been high on since he came out of, I believe it was Edna Carr in Louisiana. He's long, he's rangy, he is not afraid to hit, and right here he just shows coverage skills. I mean, you can break this one down the rest of the way.
And the thing that cracks me up here is if you're Matt Corral and you look at the top of the screen, you're going to that 100 times out of 100. You have a 1 high safety, you have a bunched up trips look here to the bottom, and me personally, I would look dead red to where he's looking too.
Right.
But the problem is the loft he gets on the ball. And I like the aggressiveness of the corner up there. I believe that's Joey Bryant.
Yep.
The aggressiveness of the corner, he bites really hard. You don't want to see that. Gets beat.
May have gotten away with a little bit of a hold up top.
Yeah. Gets beat. But, I mean, if you're Matt Corral, you try to get that ball a little bit more on a line in there. He loops it up, and Quindell Johnson makes him absolutely pay.
Yeah,
and it's as simple as that. And that's sort of what we were talking about with the 1 high safety. Them reading the play and getting there is big. It's going to be really big for this defense.
Yeah. So I mean, just to be back there and watch the quarterback's eyes is one thing, but to make up all that ground and get there is a completely different thing. And I think it shows you the maturity of a young player in Quindell Johnson, who was thrust into action and comes in and makes a huge play.
And I do have to mention, he was, according to Pro Football Focus, where they do the college rankings, he was a 92%. He was the highest graded person on the Memphis team, not just the defense, the team.
Quindell Johnson was?
Yes.
Facts.
Impressive stuff. Facts.
That's Gabe Kuhn facts right there. So once again, base
Base,
package.
very base. You got one-on-one to the top, pressed up, being very aggressive. Everybody's sort of pressed up. The only guy playing off is the safety and Tyrese Lindsey. And let's just roll it. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, a twist inside right here. You see O'Brien, Goodson, and you see Jonathan Wilson get a nice little twist just to confuse him, just to throw him off a little bit and see what happens.
And it works.
And there goes Jonathan Wilson right past the right guard. Right guard was not expecting that. He was passing this off too slow and just was not prepared for the speed that Jonathan Wilson was coming with. Penetrates.
Forces it back outside.
Yep. Forces it back. And
Joseph,
who is that?
Joseph Dorsey is waiting right there.
JoJo Ready.
And when you roll it to the top, I think this is something that I've got so many questions about this, from saying that they were going to run a 4-3 and stuff. So this is technically where JoJo Dorsey is playing. That's called their Fox position now.
Yeah.
And that is somebody, it's basically a defensive end, but they'll have standing up. So he'll drop in coverage, he'll pass rush, basically do it all, which I think perfectly fits Joseph Dorsey with his skill set and his athletic ability. So for all those questions out there, that's what that position is. Joseph Dorsey. I think Joseph Dorsey is Mashburn's there. They've got a few guys that play in that Fox position.
Yeah, and he's built to stand up. I mean, just truthfully. He's not an overly, physically demanding looking dude. He's about, 5'10"?
Yeah.
But he's fast, he's athletic, he uses his hands.
He's strong.
And he's absolutely strong. He takes this left tackle, throws him back, and then gets back. Once it falls back forward and he steps up, he's ready to just take Corral to the ground.
Yeah, and like you mentioned here, the stun inside with O'Brien and Jonathan, I think that is something that we will see a ton this year.
And I think they're just going to play games with everybody. I think, Bryce Huff twisting inside is always a good thing. And I think those guys are definitely going to be able to create penetration off of those twists.
Yeah, once again, perfect execution out of base package, just bringing
four. We've been talking about it. 4, man.
If they can do it with 4, that's pretty exciting, I would say. So here we go back to the offense. Another run, Gabe.
Okay, here we go. This is my play right here. The only difference we have here, this is G-Power again. You should expect this left guard to pull. If this forced defender down here on Joey is outside of him, he's just going to let him kick him. And obviously we're out of the Wildcat here with Kenny Gainwell coming out front, lead blocking. Let's just see what happens. He seals him. Dylan Parham seals him, and it just creates so much space out here on the outside. The linebackers, the first one beats him out, beats him front side, it looks like, Joey. But Arona, Manny at the top, absolutely out-leveraged him and created these lanes. And it's just easy.
And this block right here, so I think a lot of people, when you look at wide receivers and tight ends blocking, it's more, some of the times, it's more about getting in front of someone than actually blocking them. And I think that's something when you talked about Joey and his inline blocking. But the way that he uses his body to shield here is exactly, because when you get beat like that, that outside linebacker's coming.
Because the whole thought process in this outside zone is let's not get out leverage to the play side.
Right.
Regardless of if you do, get in his way. Get your hands on him. Joey does that. He helps Obina here with the down lineman. Let's be real here. This chip Joey has here with Obina, watch the guy. Falls down.
Turns him, yeah.
Falls down. So he's out of the play completely. And then, regardless of getting out leverage, he gets his hands on him and pushes him past the play. And it's just an easy gain and easy fall forward for a first down.
And you get to see Brady White split out a wide receiver.
Yeah. Did he block someone? Let's go back and check. Did he touch anyone?
I don't think he blocked
Did he touch anyone? Oh, he ran him off. Look at that. I guess
he actually turned his head.
I guess
he did his job. He turned his head.
I guess the corner thought that Patrick was about to throw up a left-handed fade ball to the quarterback. Wow, that's kind of embarrassing.
And that's Jalen Jones too. That's their best defensive back, and he's turning his head on quarterback.
That's a little brother guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah,
so I mean, if you can get a defensive back to turn his head as a quarterback, I think you're doing something right. So
he got ran off by the quarterback. That's fun.
So good execution there. I guess you get a little bit of help from the cornerback turning his head.
I'm sorry. When you're a defensive back and you have Patrick Taylor coming at you like this, how many times a game? How many times do you think he's going to want to get in front of this? Look at this.
You don't.
Bam. Like he crumbles.
Yeah.
He just straight up crumbles.
If Patrick Taylor's running the ball 27 times a game, I don't think anybody wants to get in front of that.
No.
And here, this is your bread and butter.
And this is awesome. Again, Is this the third or fourth time we've had G Power?
I think this is the third time, and we'll probably see it again. But I love seeing JoJo in the back.
I love seeing JoJo. I will say this though, JoJo hits the puller. Watch this. Watch this. JoJo goes and hits the puller, knocks the puller out of the way. Look, pushes the puller off of his block. But anyway, all you need is a surge. You're looking for a half yard, you get a half yard. JoJo's in there, and as long as you get a nice surge off the ball, you're good. You have a backside cut here from Obina, and it's just pretty, man. That's about as smash mouth of football as you can get, bowing up against an SEC defense.
Yeah, the only thing you could say here is Manny does not get a very good pull, but that boost from JoJo actually helped Manny reach his block. So.
And to be fair, that's a pretty good get off there by that D tackle. I think that's Benito.
Yeah, it's Benito Jones. So expected.
Very good get off. Actually, a pretty good job handling that.
And Dustin Woodard's only blocking two guys right here.
Yeah,
he's got a guy with each hand. He's got Benito Jones and the three tech.
And he had to snap the ball.
Right. So let's not forget to give Dustin Woodard props
and Patrick, 230 pounds.
Like you said, all you need is half a yard. So.
6'2", he's getting it in there. I'd say 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, just finish it off is all it is there.
A little trash talk it looked like, too.
A little bit. All right, Gabe, so before we get into our first play out of halftime, just from a guy who's been in locker rooms, like you said, from 2013 to 2017 is a long time to be in a locker room. So for a game like this, we'll go specifically for a game like this when you have a lead. I think they were up 13-0 at halftime.
And defensively they were confusing Ole Miss.
Right.
Ole Miss couldn't run the ball. That's what they were trying to do. You have Rich Rod, who's supposed to be some run game guru. He couldn't really get it done. So you knew that they were going to come out in the second half and try to bring it to you. And for the most part, they kind of did. They started getting going a little bit offensively. But what I like is that Memphis defense never wavered. They stayed the same regardless of the play. If they gave up a big play, if they gave up a big run, they stayed in it and they stayed aggressive and they didn't stray from the game plan.
So what is a Mike Norvell? We're up by 13. We're up by 2 scores at halftime. What is a halftime Mike Norvell message in that situation?
We're gonna do what we've been doing. We're gonna do exactly what we have done that has been successful. We're gonna do the G power. We're gonna run the ball. We're going to find a way to just dink and dunk. And obviously the offense did not come in the second half and didn't score any points, but that's why you have to have a good defense, and that's why your defense has to absolutely step up and make sure Ole Miss can't make halftime adjustments and go win the game.
Right. And then last question before we do get into our first second half play. As an offensive lineman in this type of situation, I think Memphis had 130 rushing yards at halftime, something around there. What's your mindset when you know you're dominating up front, when you know you're winning the battle in the running game? What's your mindset as an offensive lineman?
It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder because you know that defense on the other side is getting ready to bow up and bring everything they can, pack the box. You got to get ready for it. And I think that was part of the reason that the second half was actually tough for them. You saw it in the back half of the season last year where they lost some games down the stretch because they couldn't quite get the passing game going in the second half. The first half they would come out and they'd bust them in the mouth. Second half, that defense eventually made adjustments. And I think Ole Miss did that here too.
Right, so like we said, getting started, here we go. This is our first play out of halftime. And like you said, even though you want to keep doing the same thing, you throw some different stuff. So I think this may have been their first empty look of the game.
And this is awesome. You have a big bruising back at the top of the screen in the slot. And I'm just going to roll it for you guys. Watch this. Throws a ball caught by your big bruising running back in the slot.
Yep.
If you can do that with him consistently, I don't know many people that are going to be able to stop that.
Yeah, that's a 6'3", 230-pound running back working a perfect post route over the middle of the field. And like you said, when you've been punishing somebody all game, they definitely don't want to hit you. You can see, like, there's no one around him.
Let's see.
That defensive back
didn't much.
He got a little bit.
He got a little lick on him.
He didn't want it, though.
He didn't. He
he's
wasn't
not
aggressive.
Coming full speed there.
I know other defensive backs that would try to come put a real lick on him.
Right, but you don't want to hit 6'3", 230, especially if he's in the middle of the field trying to gain a full head of steam. So once again, this is Mike Norvell getting creative, throwing an empty set with your running back running the post.
And that's how you start the half, is trying to at least get a first down, get a drive going, and put them on their heels. and take up some time in the second half while you have a lead.
And what I'm surprised you didn't point out yet, as an offensive lineman, clean pocket.
Well, they're only bringing
three, but still,
yeah,
clean pocket.
Very clean pocket, and you got to love this. I think Manny Arono's going to come for help right there.
Perfect.
We call those rib shots right there. Get some ribs. Get some ribs. Right guard, get some ribs on that nose tackle.
You like those rib shots?
God, I love that. You got to go look for help. Look for help, people. That's what we call it.
All right, moving along here. So this is, like we talked about early in the game when Memphis had the 3rd and 11 to run the ball. Confidence. Man, they were so confident in their running game that when they were behind the sticks, they had no trouble running the ball. They were completely ready to run the ball at any time, regardless of down and distance.
And guess what play this is?
I'm gonna
back
assume,
to our favorite G Power.
I'm gonna assume G Power.
Back to our favorite G Power. We have, looks like Isaac Ellis pulling. And that's crazy. You can bring in a whole new line and run the same play, bread and butter, and create a lane there, get forward, fall for positive yards. And that's all you can ask for.
Isaac Ellis, completely, I believe that's Lakia Henry.
Yeah, and let's watch the finish.
Completely bust him.
Let's watch the finish at the top, keep turning his feet all the way through the whistle, and a little more. Can't ask for more. I like to see young guys play hard like that. That's always fun.
Yeah, and going back to the defensive side of the ball in this next play.
Oh. Let's see.
Once again, just good running back.
Yeah, just good running back, good old line play.
So, to me, this is one of the most important defensive plays of the game, not because of the outcome or anything like that, but because of what it shows. I think probably 90% of the time last year, if there was a 3rd and 3 in an important situations, Memphis's defense would have more than likely given it up. And that's not slandering it. It was just they were not good on 3rd down last year.
It's truthful.
So for them to get a play like this against all the athletes that Ole Miss has and being able to spread out the ball, and they completely ruined this play.
How about what I love here? They leave JoJo Dorcius as a read key. If you leave him as a read key,
he's going.
And don't block him and pitch it that quick, what's he going to do? He is going to absolutely make this play and stuff that.
Going straight for the ball.
4th down,
and then you have,
punt it.
I believe this is Jacoby Francis right here who blows up Elijah Moore.
And
Elijah Moore's your lead. I mean, this is your lead right here. You have your 2 linemen out front. This is your kick-out block that's supposed to open that lane, and there's nothing there because Jacoby Francis absolutely blows up Elijah Moore.
And the thing about this defense is they're not big. Jacoby's not a big player.
No.
JoJo's not a big player, and they play with so much aggressiveness, so much tenacity, and a 3rd and 3 stop like this where you're pounding him back, that's always great to see.
Rallying to the football always works.
Oh, yeah. A little celebration. I never get the slap on the head, though.
No.
We're trying to keep CTE out of football, man. Stop slapping people.
I'll give you one quick story before we keep moving on. So I didn't get to play college football like the guy sitting next to me, but I did play high school football. My first touchdown I ever scored my sophomore year.
What'd you play?
I played slot receiver.
Okay.
So my first touchdown I ever scored my sophomore year with the varsity squad. We had an offensive lineman, played guard. He was probably like 5'9", but he was like 310. I mean, he was a big dude. Yeah. So I score, I'm celebrating with my teammates, and I get one of those helmet slaps.
Yeah.
A helmet slap from hell, and I was shook afterwards. So I'm completely with you.
They got to pull you out of the game, man.
They need to stop doing that.
We got concussions from celebrations.
Stop slapping helmets because it does not feel good.
Do it, okay? And also, for practice fights, if they have their helmet on, don't punch.
No punches.
What's the point of that?
That's terrible, too.
That's crazy.
Moving on. Once again, this is so impressive to me. Another 3rd and manageable, 3rd and short. They're in plus territory. They're in the red zone. And this plays a little bit on Matt Corral, I will say that. But as far as getting
I will say
pressure
this guy on the 10-yard line looks like a pretty good target.
He looks pretty open. If he hits him early, he's open. But you can't.
But again,
if you get a stop, you get a stop. So
a stop. They moved the pocket when they, quite frankly, didn't really need to. The Tigers didn't really bring a whole bunch of pressure here. But the Tigers stay strong and cover what they need to for the most part. They're going to have to clean this up in the secondary right here on the 10-yard line.
Tim Hart should be right here.
Yeah, he's got to carry that and be able to make that play if they throw it to him.
Yeah, because if you look at this right here, this is 100% obviously zone coverage. He's supposed to
a little late. A little late.
He's supposed to drop middle of the field. I don't think he's in terrible position here because if he makes this read here, he's there.
Yeah, he's got a safety over top waiting for him.
Yeah, so I think zone-wise is very good except for this drop by Tim Hart. But
it's just a timing issue, and that'll get resolved pretty.
It's week 1.
Yeah, and not to mention, They make the stop and absolutely
Matt Corral took a shot.
Destroy Matt Corral. Tabletop him a little bit too. That's no fun.
Don't give Jonathan Wilson a free shot at a quarterback because he's going to make him pay. That did not feel good. I can promise you that.
Good choice to throw that one away, buddy. Oh, God, that one hurt.
Didn't feel good. So right here, going back to the offense, I think this is Brady's best throw of the game.
Best throw of the game. And I don't know if that was like I don't know if that's like a, it was a good throw. It was a really good throw to an open receiver in Coxie. Let's just watch it.
Good protection.
Good protection. Got his personal protector out there. Good throw. Good catch. All you can ask for there.
You get open, you complete a pass.
Great job by Coxie right here, getting the runoff and getting space to make this catch.
Because he's covering, basically, I wouldn't really call it a poco because it's not really a post. That's a poco.
Somewhat a post corner.
Yeah, I would say that's a post corner. He gives a little fake inside and goes back out. So a good route. He makes that defensive back completely.
Trip.
You see the defensive back on the ground. That's a good thing. So,
exactly.
So great route, great throw, clean pocket. Obina almost let a guy through, but you got 3 seconds to throw the ball.
But again, best throw of the day right here by Brady, I would say, and that's saying. It was a good throw. Really
Speaking
good throw.
of those rip shots, give me a rewind.
Okay.
Give me a rewind on Patrick Taylor.
You got some ribs?
Watch Patrick Taylor.
That's the definition of ribs right there.
You do not want Patrick Taylor hitting you in the ribs.
Oh, no, that one hurt.
That's tough.
He felt that one.
Yeah.
He got bruised. Like that's a real one.
Yeah, he did not feel good on Sunday morning.
Good job, Pat.
Good, yeah, Pat. That's a great chip right there.
That's real stuff.
That dude's thinking twice.
Oh God.
Here we go. We're gonna let Gabe Kuhn break down special teams play.
And this is where when I was at Memphis, we had 2 different punters. We had our deep punter and Spencer Smith, and we had our Australian rules punter, Nick Jacobs. And he did all these drop punts where you get the backspin on the ball.
Situational punts.
Yeah, and you're trying to pin them. Adam Williams does it all. Look at this punt, people.
This is
Look
money.
at this.
This is absolutely money.
Drops right here inside the 10.
You hit at the 9. That's
hit at the 9 and dies. Just absolutely dies. You don't need, and not to mention the hang time. His guys have been down there for how long? Look. He gets down and settles his feet before it even drops.
They're literally turned around waiting for the ball before it drops, so you can't ask for a more perfect punt, and we know what it's going to lead to.
We know what it leads to.
But as far as special teams and punting goes, I think Pete Limbo's got these dudes on the right track because that's money.
And it leads to their only points of the second half.
And the play that wins the game here. This is bad football on Ole Miss's part.
This is bad play calling mixed with good play calling, aggressive play calling, and timely play calling from Adam Fuller's side. He absolutely knows, okay, I'm going to heat them up. They're going to try to run this ball, is what he's thinking. Okay,
right. They're
going to try to get themselves some space. But no, Rich Rodriguez decides, I'm going to drop back my quarterback who's only completed, 7 or 8 balls to this point.
Right.
And what Adam Fuller does, he brings in the safety right here. I believe that's, who is that, Quindell?
This right here?
Quindell Johnson?
This is Sanchez.
Okay, that's Sanchez, I'm sorry. But Sanchez comes down in the box because you have 2 linebacker plugs, and Ole Miss is doing a full slide right. So they're going to have their running back and their tight end here are in the protection the whole way. They only have 3 people out in a route. And when you bring people, it starts confusing. People. This tight end, he sees Bryce Huff not wanting to come. And then he sees J.J. Russell fire. He squeezes it off, although that's supposed to be Scotty Phillips' guy. You just confuse that front. You confuse Ole Miss.
They have no idea where the pressure's coming from.
Bryce Huff thinks he's a read key for a second. He sees Matt Corral, keeps the ball, triggers, safety.
Bam. And if you run it back, we've talked about them going out of base pretty much for the majority of this game, and it just shows you what they can do out of a base package. So,
by the way, another example of JoJo dropping off the ball.
He's dropping here. He's dropping in coverage in the flats. So when you have him drop, and he kind of looks like a spy maybe.
Yeah.
So when you have that, you bring Zay Cullins, you bring J.J. Russell as inside pressures, and like you said, Bryce Huff kind of just standing up, waiting out the play, see what's going on, a hesitation pressure, and it absolutely works. You have Sanchez, like you mentioned, coming down in the box.
And this is and if you're Ole Miss, you expect them to pick this up, but when you bring so many bodies, when you are aggressive, especially in this situation, you're gonna land something,
right?
Because you're confusing that side of the ball, and they just don't know their responsibilities at that point. And you see it here. Scotty Phillips is supposed to be on the inside guy. and his tight end takes the wrong one. Bryce Huff makes him pay.
Finishes it off.
Now it was time to ice away the game.
Yeah, and this right here is, once again, bad assignment football on Ole Miss's part, because you see Kenny Gainwell, they know he's a dynamic player. He's been having a big game all afternoon.
And obviously you see this linebacker creeping up. He's clearly got the blitz.
Right, he's coming. This linebacker, this inside linebacker's coming. Defensive end just runs right past Kenny Gainwell.
Defensive end's supposed to peel with Kenny Gainwell. He doesn't, and the Tigers make him pay. And that's just an easy pitch and catch. Definitely a lot on Ole Miss's fault, but at the same time, just a great play call as far as I'm concerned by Mike Norvell, especially late in the going here.
Yeah, so this is their first down to really get this drive started.
He took a little lick.
Took a shot there.
Took a little lick, but hey, first down.
And I think they knew that they needed to keep the ball this entire drive. Not that they didn't trust their defense, but if you can make plays, you can get first downs and bleed the clock. That's exactly what you do. So,
and not to mention, very good assignment football on the Tigers' part as far as Scotty Dill here on the right side. He doesn't kick and try to get this wide guy. He squeezes it off like he's supposed to, like he's taught to in a 5-man protection. And with a young O-line, that's something that usually you don't see early.
Absolutely, because
especially in the first game.
If that linebacker comes free, that play more than likely doesn't happen.
Absolutely, but this guy's got to peel with Kenny, and he doesn't, and they make him pay.
First down. That's all that matters.
Always.
Yeah, so just.
And then the lick.
Yeah, he took a bit of a shot there. I don't think he cared, though. I think he was fired up.
And this
right here is the play. This is Mike Norvell saying, "I'm smarter than you," basically.
4th and 2, 3:31 left in the game.
You're barely in plus territory right here.
You started this drive when there was 6:40 on the clock.
Right.
They iced the last 6:40 off the clock. And I know the O-line, got a lot of credit, but you got to watch this here. Watch Dustin Woodard. Watch the center making his calls. They motion him over. That's Benito Jones. That's a really, really good nose tackle right across from him. And Dustin puts him on the ground.
That's a dump truck.
Finishes him. And this is it looks like what we would call a power scheme, where you pull the guard and the rest of the O-line gaps down. It's just enough. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's just enough, and it's a smart play call at this point in the game. You don't expect a shovel pass on 4th and 2 with 3 minutes left on the clock.
Right, and like you said, Manny gets just enough of that defensive end to the point where Kenny can get this first down, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't. I mean, this play was not perfectly executed. If this shovel pass is perfectly executed, that's a house call.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you watch this right here, if Manny kicks that block out. So Manny kicks that block out. You're sealed perfectly with that linebacker right there. That could be a touchdown.
And not to mention, I talked about Dustin Woodard here getting a good nose tackle on the ground, but watch the left guard come off. And I think that's Isaac. I think that's Isaac Ellis.
Could be. They were shuffling guards.
But either way, great. This is not an easy double team to execute, to get up on that linebacker. And like you said, if he kicks him out right there, that's a house call. And they finally get their offensive points in the second half. That
shows you just how much it takes for a play to be perfect, because the play works, you get the first down, that's all that matters. But a little bit more of a block leads to a touchdown. So that's the intricate parts of the game, I guess. So nothing else matters if they got the first down, and this really helped them bleed off the clock. This is where you start getting Ole Miss to burn timeouts. They only had 2 left at this point. So big play there, and another big play here. This to me, like we've mentioned a couple times, this is ballsy. You're going 3rd and 7. If you don't get this, you can only get the clock to about 2 minutes, and then you have to punt the ball.
I mean, but this is their bread and butter. This is their bread and butter right here. Let me see. Go back here. Out of Wildcat. Very interesting, though, to have a guy on the left side come back across to be a lead blocker. That's something that it's a wrinkle that they've shown. They showed in this game that I like, especially when you have the double tight, triple tight basically with that wing there. But again, what play is it? G Power gets the good seal here with the right guard on the pull, seals that defensive end in, and it's just off to the races again. An easy 7 yards, falls forward, quick.
3 tight ends on that play.
Yeah, 3 tight ends all doing their job.
Cameron Wilson, redshirt freshman in there blocking.
That's
right here on the right side.
Yep.
Didn't exactly get to the line.
Yeah, got a body in front of a body.
Didn't exactly get to the linebacker, but threw him off his course enough to get the first down. And once
8 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards is 8 yards, 9 yards. We're there, first down.
That's all that matters. And this is what ends it.
And guess what? Play again. Bread and butter. You think teams are gonna be scheming this up down the road?
I would say teams could pay attention to this G power.
They run it right all day, and they get in the same formation. I almost think Ole Miss knows what's coming at this point.
Oh yeah, you have to.
But you have JoJo in there, and you're daring them. Okay, 2nd and 3, stop us. And obviously, it doesn't go as well as the other plays. They sort of out-leverage it. When you look at the Polar, he's not able to
Isaac Ellis didn't get much.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not able to really, he couldn't kick it because they were leveraging it to the left. They knew where it was coming. But Kenny Gainwell does a really good job of bouncing it and getting the first down. Just sort of, that's basically free. And then a heady play to slide.
Oh, yeah, that's just being football smart. That's football IQ right there getting down. But if you go back a little bit more, you can see. And to me, this is the whole point of the game. Like, Ole Miss's defense was not as aggressive, and you can see that right here. This cornerback decides to go inside. I believe it's Pop Williams over here. He takes inside on him. Pop gets a little bit of a seal, and that's just not playing aggressive football. It's either Dykes or
Dykes.
Pop.
That's Dykes.
Sean Dykes.
But yeah, when you out leverage someone to the play side like that, and they try to undercut, and it's just a good job by Kenny Gainwell realizing that he's not going to get the kick he wants,
and
it's not perfect. He bounces it. Goes and gets the first down and completely ends the game.
Yeah.
And then the slide is just great. You, especially in this situation, you don't want to try to, you house call that, you give them the ball back, you take a chance with them being able to, mess around and get an onside kick.
Right.
Just slide, keep the ball, run the clock out.
Yeah, and even if he runs out of bounds there, they can kneel that game out. But just for him to show that football IQ getting down, I think as a football guy, you'd love to see players being smart enough, especially a redshirt freshman who's playing his first big-time action. So.
And we're going to see a lot more of him this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Kenny Gainwell, no Patrick Taylor against Southern. I'd say Kenny Gainwell has a 200-yard opportunity this weekend.
And we're definitely going to see some other guys be able to step up, especially in a game like that. I like, you have the offense struggling in week 1. You get a game like Southern in where you can sort of troubleshoot.
Right.
Figure out what you did wrong, figure out what you need to do better, get Brady throwing the ball.
Sit some guys if they need to be healthy.
Exactly. Get some confidence going into South Alabama.
And you're a 38-point favorite. So,
yeah,
so
that's always a good thing.
It's one of those that could be wrapped up by halftime. But then, you get an opportunity to play some of those freshmen that haven't gotten minutes yet. You plan on redshirting some guys like a Rodriguez Clark, running back from Starkville, who will more than likely play this week. I'd say he probably sees his first action this week with Patrick Taylor out. He gets a chance to play a game without burning, first game on a 4 game without burning the red shirt. So I think, like we said, this was a huge game. This was a physical game. I think it took a toll. So now you get a week to kind of relax.
But the biggest thing from this game, biggest takeaway, awesome defensively by Adam Fowler, scheming them up, being aggressive, being timely. And the offensive line, for being young, for being a question mark, really figured it out and came to their own. And I think it's going to help them down the road that they win against, a big defensive line like this and sort of a decently coached up team by Mike McIntyre.
Yep.
So.
Now, with that being said, Gabe, we're going to get out of here.
Absolutely.
We probably went way longer than we expected to go.
We like talking ball, man.
We like talking football. That's what happens. But we're going to get out of here. That really does it for our first episode of GoTigers247 Film Room. Thank you, Gabe, for joining me.
Absolutely, man.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Head over to GoTigers247.com. Check out everything we got over there. And stay tuned for next week's episode.
Yep.